tell me it's recording in just a minute. There we go. Welcome to Mrs. Walker's Storytime as we continue reading Adventures at the Hound Hotel, Cool Crosby. We are starting chapter 3 in the doghouse. The second Alfreda cried out like a big baby, Mom came running. He just kicked over the water. For a long time, Mom studied me and the mess I'd made. The water had soaked Crosby's and Bruno's beds. Alfreda's shoes and jeans, too. It dripped off the dog's fur. There were puddles in Crosby's kennel and the pen next door. The only dry thing around was me. It was clear I was clearly in the doghouse.
You want headphones?
Mm-mm.
But lucky for me, Mom never yells around our hotel guests. She wants the hotel to be a calm place for our visitors. Alfreda and I are never allowed to yell in the kennel building either, no matter how mad we get at each other. Yelling makes dogs nervous, just like it makes people nervous. Mom brought a mop. Get busy, Alfie, she said. Alfreda, take the dry bedding to the laundry room for Crosby and Bruno. Guys, be sure you leave your mics off. Don't click on them. Play with them in there until the pen is dry. I'll be in the play yard with the other dogs. I need both of you to help with the lunchtime feeding. I spent about 10 minutes all by myself mopping up. It was lonesome, I'll tell you. I wish Dad were here. But then again, he would make me clean up the mess too. I needed some cheering up, but I needed Crosby. Nice and slow, I laid down the mop and then crept up the hall. I couldn't believe my good luck. Alfreda hadn't shut the laundry room door. It stood open just a crack, and I peeked inside. Crosby lay on his bed beside the clothes dryer. Bruno sat on top of Crosby's head and chewed his brother's ear. Chewed his ear? I am not kidding. With a sigh, Crosby gently took Bruno off his head. The puppy slid into the bed with a soft plop. Guess what? Bruno climbed right back onto Crosby's neck. He sat on Crosby's head again and got busy chewing Crosby's other ear. Crosby growled a little, a low growl. But that was it. He never lost his temper. Did Alfreda notice this at all? No, she was chewing her lip and cutting up a big cardboard box. She laid it flat on the floor and started to paint a forest on it. That's another one of my sister's abilities that makes me sick. She's an alpha artist in our family. She's the best artist in our grade at school, too. She doesn't just whip out a drawing or painting. She spends hours and hours on each one of them. Mom loves Alfreda's paintings of dogs the most. She frames them and hangs them all over our house. So I've got an everyday reminder of how gifted and talented my sister is, and how gifted and talented I am not. After a minute or so, Bruno jumped off Crosby's head. He hopped onto Alfreda and a bit of paintbrush. He pulled out his hand and ran it around the room with his mouth. Hey, Alfreda said, give that back. She crawled after him, but Bruno kept wiggling out of her reach. The pesky pup led her in a wide circle. Then he ran right back over the freshly painted fairy tale forest. Henry, turn your mic off and leave it off, please. He jumped off the cardboard and left a trail of messy brown and green footprints all over the floor. That's when Alfreda cornered him. No, you don't. Come here, she said. She wiped her feet with a wet cloth and then wiped the floor. Next, she plopped the puppy on Crosby's bed and she pushed the pup right between Crosby's front paw. "Stay, Bruno," she ordered. Bruno jumped right out. Alfreda put him between Crosby's front paws again. This time she crossed Crosby's legs in front of Bruno's nose, like a furry castle wall. "Hold him right there, Crosby," she said. "I'm almost done painting the background." Great, I thought. Now Crosby has to pup sit. This is the worst sleepover in dog history. He'll never want to come back to the Hound Hotel. His owners will be able to tell he hates it here. They won't send him back, and I'll never see him again. Will miss him the rest of my life. Bruno tried to wiggle free, but Crosby held him in place. Crosby closed his eyes and sighed heavily. Was feeling sorrier for Crosby by the second. The two of us could have been outside racing through the coolest obstacle course ever built. This was all Alfreda's fault. I could feel my face getting hot again. I even started to sweat. Finally, Alpharetta stood with the fake forest in front of the washing machine. "Done. Now, my fine actors, it's time to try on our costumes," she announced to Crosby and Bruno. First, she wrapped Bruno in a brand towel and laid him in a basket. "You are a little loaf of bread," she said. "You only have one thing to do: lie still." What do you want to bet he doesn't do it? Alfreda must have wrapped Bruno tight because he couldn't even wiggle. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. "Now it's your turn," she said to Crosby. "You will be the star of the show in the wolf in the granny suit." She reached into a box and pulled out a polka dot nightgown and matching hat. She must have found them in our attic. Maybe they belonged to our great great grandma or something, but they looked super old fashioned. My heart started to pound and I started breathing fast. My face felt like it was on fire. That strange getup was the last thing a cool wolf like dog would want to wear. Alfreda started to tug the nightgown over Crosby's head, and I couldn't keep quiet another second. I had to save him from my sister and her dumb play. I threw the door open wide and I leapt into the room and I shouted, "Stop! Don't put that stupid thing on him." See our picture? She's putting the nightgown on Crosby. Chapter 4, Tug of the Nightgown. I don't see this going well, do you? My shout made Alfreda jump. She fell backwards and bumped her head hard on the washing machine. "Ow!" She sat up and rubbed her head. "Get out of here, Alfie, or I'm telling." "No," I said. "You wouldn't get out of my room this morning." That shut her up, at least for a second. Now Crosby wandered around the room with the nightgown totally covering his head. "Look out, Bud," I warned him. Too late, he bumped his long nose right into the wall. "That's your fault," said Alfredi to me. "No, it isn't. You put that thing on him in the first place." I pulled the nightgown off Crosby's head and patted his nose. "You okay, boy?" He licked my cheek. "Just stick with me, Bud," I said. "I'm your man. I'll show you a good time. Come on." I led him to the open door. "Bring Crosby back here," Alfreda ordered. "No, I'm going to talk some sense into Mom. German Shepherds are big dogs. They need lots of exercise. They should run around in the big play yards." "Stop telling me stuff I already know," she said. "It's so annoying when they do that." "Me? Annoying?" I said. "You're the one who's acting all know-it-all." "What?" She stuck her tongue out. "You always act like a know-it-all." "I do not," I yelled, and I stuck my tongue back at her. "Would you stop arguing for once?" "Me argue? Ha! I hardly do that," she argued. "But you argue all the time." "I do not," I argued. "Look, Alfreda, Crosby needs to do some real actiony stuff, not lie around here on a stage pretending to be a fairy tale granny." "He'll get out soon enough," Alfreda said, "right after lunch." "No. Now, come on, Crosby. I'm talking to Mom. She knows dogs better than anyone, especially my sister." "No," Alfredi leapt in my direction. "Let go of him and give me that nightgown." I let go of Crosby's neck fur. He stayed right by my side. I now held the nightgown. I planned to hide stupid thing somewhere, like under the big rock behind. Miss Walker can't talk. Let me try that sentence again. I planned to hide the stupid thing somewhere, like under the big rock beyond a faraway hill. Alfreda pulled the nightgown harder. I pulled back. Towards me, twice as hard. She gave it a stronger tug. I did too. Who has a feeling this is not going to end well? Any ideas what might happen to this poor nightgown they're tugging on? What do you think? Who wants to turn on their mic and tell me what they think might happen?
It's gonna rip.
Okay, Sam
Hmm.
thinks it's gonna rip. What do you think, Haven?
It's definitely gonna rip.
You think so? All right. You think it's gonna rip? All right, let's see what happens, shall we? Then she yanked it with the Alpha Kid strength, and I almost fell flat on my face. I straightened up, then gave a crazy strong yank on that polka dotted old lady pajamas. See our picture? And Bruno's sleeping through the whole thing. Erg! I yelled. Alfreda in the nightgown shot towards me. She stopped herself just before she crashed into my chest. Ow! You pulled so hard you twisted my arm. It hurts, I'm telling. You pulled hard too, I said. Not as hard as you, she frowned. For a second, I thought I was stronger for my sister for once, really. Besides, she said, you weren't supposed to be here. You're supposed to be doing your chores. I'm telling. Don't, I said. Alfreda pushed past me and round down the hall. She tore through the kennel room and out the play yard door. About 5 seconds later, Mom called from outside, Alfie, come here this instant. Oh no. Chapter 5. Alpha Pest of the World. I pinned up Crosby and Bruno in the laundry room. Then I dragged myself outside. Be back soon, I said over my shoulder. Maybe, I added, swallowing hard. In the fenced in play yard, a bunch of dogs yipped and ran towards me. I kneeled down and gave them lots of chin runs and pats on the back. Alfie, Mom called in her mean business voice. I sighed and headed to the west side of the fence. Mom and Alfreda were nearing besides a couple of labs. Alfie saw me coming and started to act like she was out to win a giant prize for acting or something. First, she stood up all shaky. Next, she held her arm out all loose and floppy like. Then she bent her neck sideways and did her I'm dying eyeball roll with her eyes almost disappeared. Oh, it hurts so much, Mom, she boo-hooed. I won't be able to do my lunchtime chores. I guess I'll have to play with Crosby and Bruno all day. I marched right up to Mom. Give me a break, I cried. She's totally faking it. Some of the big dogs pull way harder on their walks than I pulled just now. Crosby should be outside playing with me, not inside, cooped up with her. Calm down, Alfie, Mom said. Impossible, I cried. Not when I have Alpha Pest for the world for a sister. Alfie, Mom warned. What did I say about controlling your temper? I shut my mouth tight and shot Alfreda an evil eye. Listen, you two, Mom said. No matter how mad you get, you always need to be gentle with each other. Here's an important reason. If either of you gets hurt, there won't be enough workers in the hotel. Got it? Alfie and I both nodded. Mom turned to my sister. Tell me honestly, honey, what is your pain level between 1 and 10? 1 is no pain and 10 is horrible pain. My pain is an 11, Alfreda said, because Alfie caused it. My mom sighed. I give up, she said. Alfie, go finish your morning chores. Alfreda, put the German Shepherds back in their pen. It should be dry by now. Then finish Little Red in there, Alfie. When the play is over, you may take Crosby outside. What? I said. But Alfreda will drag the dumb play on for hours and hours. I know she will. My head was ready to explode. It felt like 10 Brunos chewing at me all at once.
Good.
I swung my leg back, gritted my teeth, then swung my leg forward, super hard. Boom! I kicked a big tub full of dog toys. The tub shot towards the sky and tipped upside down. Balls, frisbee, chew bones flew everywhere. Alfie Wolfgang Wolf, Mom cried. That does it. I think he's in trouble now. Chapter 6. And that is where we will stop, my friends. We will stop there and pick up there next week. So I'm going to stop presenting and I will stop recording.